Okay guys, welcome back to a brand new track guide, hot lap and setup video. This time we are at the Qatar circuit. New circuit on the calendar for this year as a permanent fixture. So head down into turn 1 then. You're looking out for the 50 meter board on the right hand side. That's your braking point for the corner, and we're turning in, keeping it nice and tight, down into 4th gear, 5th gear, depending on how your rotation is around this corner. You want to get on the power nice and early, use all the track on the left hand side, bring it back over, and just as you hit the 50 meter board, slight touch on the brakes, down a gear and throw it into the left hander here, and then use all the track again on exit, get on the power really early. You've got a nice long curved straight here now. Keep it nice and tight on the right hand side there, and then just keep it in a straight line. And you want to be braking for the next right hander just after the 50 meter board, more or less all in line with the lamp post there on the right hand side. Where's it to? There it is. More or less in line with the lamp post, or just as you're about to approach that. And we're going down into 5th gear for this corner. All these corners you really want to throw it in and carry as much speed as possible. Flat out through the exit of the corner, slight lift if you really need to, and then immediately bring it back over to the right hand side. You're looking to brake right on the start of the apex here, somewhere between the 50 meter board and here anyway. I like to use the start of the curb, but you may prefer to use like the 50 meter board as more reference. Down to 3rd gear for this left hander, and then on the power really early, short shift up to 4th. And down to this is a tricky section for track limits. Braking at the lamppost on the right hand side. Again, just there, just behind the delta. Braking at that lamppost, down into 4th gear. And again, mid to late apex on this corner. Get on the power as early as you can. Use as much of this as you can possibly get away with. You want your right wheels all the way on this white line. This little kink here is completely flat out again, but just be careful of the track limits on the left hand side. And then this corner, just as you're approaching this white line on the right hand side, you want to start braking, not overly too heavy, down into 4th gear and throw the car. You can carry a lot more speed into this corner than you think. Onto the power very early here, because now you're flat out all the way to the penultimate corner. So this bit is all about just keeping it smooth, just getting the right turn in. Mid apexes on every single one of these corners, taking as much of it as you possibly can, and then back out wide. And then this bit, this right hander here, sometimes you'll need a slight lift, sometimes you can take a flat. Depends on your wing level. Higher wing level or higher downforce level anyway will help you out around that corner. And then for the penultimate corner, it's a slight lift down in 6th gear. Slight lift immediately back on the power, just helps you get a better exit. Careful of track limits on the exit curb. And then into the final corner again, be careful of track limits. You want to try and get as far over to the left as you can to really open up the corner. Braking again just after the 50 meter board here. Just after the 50 meter board into 4th gear. And again, you really want to throw the car into this corner. Into 4th gear. As I'm coming across these sausage curves on the right hand side, I shift up to 5th and then really plant the power on the exit and use all of the track on the left hand side, but don't go over, because track limits there are a nightmare. And pick up the DRS, and that's straight across the line. We'll get into the hot lap now. The hot lap was done in Grand Prix mode, so you might notice I did it in hot lap mode because of the way you need to use the RS, because you haven't got enough deployment to actually last a full lap in hot lap. So you want to go down to none at a certain point in the track. I prefer just to use it as I'm turning into turn 1, and then on the exit, between turn 2 and turn 3, I'll turn it back to hot lap, just to get me around the rest of the track, because you don't want to lose the DRS down the pit straight here. Not the DRS, you really don't want to lose the deployment down the pit straight where you've got the DRS there. So yeah, let's get to the hot lap. It's not the best of hot laps. I've given myself about half an hour to get this get this done, so I didn't spend an awful lot of time trying to get a good lap in, but I feel like it's an okay lap for the time I spent on it. So yeah, I hope you've enjoyed this one. We'll get into the setup as well. It'll be a race setup for this circuit because the time trial setups I don't feel work very well in a race situation, so we'll have my own adapted race setup to give to you guys with this track. I hope you've enjoyed. If you have, leave a like on the video, comment if you've got any tips around this circuit that might help someone else. Because as I said, I've given myself half hour, 45 minutes to get this done. So yeah, if you've got any tips, leave them in the comments below. Subscribe to the channel if you're new, if you enjoyed, if it's helped you in some way. So yeah, enjoy guys. Okay then, so let's get into the race setup that I've come up with for the circuit. In terms of aero, 47 on the front wing, 42 on the rear wing. It seems to give a nice balance overall throughout the stint, with your tyre wearing down, and also you're not a sit and duck on the straight. Some people will run a much higher wing level, but this I find a really good balance in a race situation. Transmissions, 50 on throttle, 53 off throttle. I have no idea where it's 53 off throttle is, sort of where I set it to and left it at, and never went back to it again because it felt pretty spot on. Suspensions, top two to the right, bottom two to the left, which now seems to be just a standard for this game. To be fair, I think the last 7 or 8 have been top two to the right, bottom two to the left. Suspension really firm on the front suspension, and then a softer rear suspension as normal. So 41 on the front, 11 on the rear. Anti-roll bars, 10 on the front and 1 on the rear. And then ride height, 35 on the front, and then a really high rear ride height of 40, just to help with the amount of curb you need to use around this around this circuit, with some of the curbs being slightly angled in some of the areas. On the exits anyway, brake pressure is 100% as always, brake bias 52%, so really far to the rear. Move it back a bit to 55, 54 for the race. Quality you want to be 52, 53%. Tyre pressures in a race situation, this is what I had for a career mode, and then when I've been using this same setup online, it's minimum on the rears and then 22.2 on the fronts. So just a slight adjustment on the tyre pressures there. This setup in career mode actually works alright as well. So if you want to use it there, then yeah, it does work. Depending on your car level, if you're using like a front end car, then just use the setup as is, or reduce the downforce a little bit. If you're running in like a realistic Williams or something, just up the front and rear downforce slightly, and you should be good to go. But yeah, I hope you've enjoyed this once again. I'll leave a like, subscribe if you've enjoyed, and comment down below if you've got any comments, anything like you think may help someone that I may have missed. But yeah, until next week.